Welcome to Push Culture News. I'm Brian Davenport, and this is the July edition of the Push Culture News Desk. I'm not using a teleprompter. Thought that might be fun. Things are a little bit different. It's been a busy summer. There's a lot going on. Unfortunately, the June News Desk, which I filmed a lot of cool stuff while on the road at Marion Hill and Whistler, got erased by the Helicam operator, who's awesome, did a great job. An accident, but it happens. Moving on to industry news. Giant's Head is canceled. Terrible, terrible disappointment. The mountain is under a severe fire hazard, and they just thought that having a whole bunch of crazy kids skating the hill for the weekend might result in a fire, which it might. Trade show season is in full swing. Agenda just went down at skateslate.com. You can find a nice write-up by Max Dubler, just kind of highlighting what he thought were the cool new releases, hot things to see. And by the way, a little public service announcement. Max Dubler is not Brent Dubendorf. This guy's Dubes, this guy's Dubler. The Wheelbase Keep On Tuckin' Tour, which we with Push Culture Apparel were proud to sponsor this year. They've released 7 videos from the tour, and we were really stoked to get a couple of our NYCL grommets out on the trip. Kai Monroe and Joey Nickel both. Great job, they're both serious shredders. Speaking of New York City locals, Ed Neves is now doing an advice column at Wheelbase. It's called Edvice. If you don't know, Ed came up in the Earthwing crew, riding hard wheels. He's the New York City like skate punk dude. He's awesome. You can ask him anything. You can ask him about girls or skateboarding or punk rock or whatever. Will Royce now lives in San Francisco, and here he is to tell you a little bit about his transition.
Hey Push Culture, I'm Bill Rice and we're in Oakland. Back to you, Brian.
Now we've got some event coverage. We'll start out here on the East Coast at Windham, New York with I Love Downhill. Max Ballesteros took first place, followed by Nico Desmarais, Jonas Richter, and Will Royce. Team Mids did a really cool raw run with Pete Love mic'd up in one of the Narpographer 3000s for us, and you can find that on our channel, pushculturenews.com. And then immediately after that, I flew out to Maryhill and had the experience of working with Corner Wave Media, the guys who brought us the live feed from Whistler last year. And we did the finals of Luge, Juniors, Women's, and the Open finals, full top to bottom. And Max Wilberman came out and did commentary on the skateboarding, and we had Chris McBride doing commentary for Street Luge, so make sure you check that out. Delua got first place, said it was his dream to win Maryhill, and he did. 2 years ago, he was leading the front of the pack, similar to this year, but crashed out in one of the repeaters. Patrick Switzer took second place, and Max Ballesteros came in third. Max is now riding for Bustin' Boards. He was recently in Spain and shot a really cool video with Pedal Pro. Alberto is honestly my favorite video guy. He's creative, he tries fun stuff, and it's always cool and unique. It's called Max Ballesteros somewhere in Spain. It's got this whole like Tarantino vibe to it, and it's really cool. Alberto also recently did a video on the Rain channel with Patrick Switzer where he's like being chased down Spanish mountains with dinosaurs and stuff. It's awesome. So yeah, check out Pedal Pro, recent releases. Moving on to the Whistler Longboard Festival. Patrick Switzer took first place, just edged out Jimmy Raya, last year's defending champion, who really wanted to repeat, couldn't quite put it together. Patrick was way out in front the whole time. Ben Dubril from Quebec took third place. Ben rides for Quebec and rad. Certainly an underdog, but a very, very, very cool dude. We were all stoked to see him get on the podium. Special shout out to Troy Yardwaste, who came out and did commentary for us in Whistler. Moving on to the Euro Tour, which is currently in full swing, and we will have complete coverage for you next month. But as of recording, Almentrieb, the first World Cup event has happened. Kevin Reimer took first place, followed by P-Swiss, Jimmy Raya, and Matt Kay took fourth. And now for coverage of the Sullivan Challenge, here's Push Culture News BC correspondent Troy Yardwaste.
Hey, I'm Troy Yardwith, and
This year's Sullivan Challenge was so much fun. Being one of the longest running races in the circuit next to Danger Bay, it celebrated 13 years of epic skating, racing, and partying. The weekend was full of crazy adventures and awesome memories. James Ware, aka the Slimer, took first place in his first podium finish ever, followed by Wolfgang Coleman in second and me in third. If you haven't attended this race, make sure it's at the top of your list for next year. Did I mention it's free entry fee?
now back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Troy. If you'd like more information about the Sullivan Challenge, make sure you check out the recently released documentary, Highway Gospel. Now, that commercial you just saw, Brooklyn Workshop. I got some of these kicks, and I've been checking them out. Rode them in Maryhill and Whistler. We got 4 events coming up in August, and I'm going to put them through their paces and let you know what I think. So, yeah, here they are, Brooklyn Workshop. They got a mid-top now. I don't wear lows. I'm tired of scraping off my ankles. And now that they've released, we're happy to have partnered with them. They're an advertiser on the show, and I'm going to let you know what I think about the kicks. August is going to be a busy month. We're wrapping up the Push Culture Cup. Of our 7 events, 4 of them are in August. We're going to start on the 1st with Gravity Fest 9, hosted by Dr. No in Munnsville, New York. And then the following weekend, we have the Downhill Throwdown presented by Quebec in Killington, Vermont. It's one of 3 East Coast events that we host with Mark Dean, and we look forward to having this first-year event. Nobody's ever raced the hill. It's buttery pavement. It's really, really fast. We might hit 60 in leathers, and we're looking forward to bringing it all to you guys, documented by the Narpographer 3000, so you know exactly what the hill has to offer. The following weekend, Mike Gerard, East Coast's dad, is hosting Central Mass 5 in Harvard, Massachusetts. It's a special event for us in particular because it's the first time the Push Culture News went out and covered an event, and I interviewed the organizer and the winner and all that. And so it kind of marks the 5th year of Push Culture News. 2 weekends later, Labor Day weekend, we've got Acme Extreme Downhill presented by Original Skateboards. It's an event that we host with Tom Barnhart from the Bergen County Bombers. And this year, it's an IDF qualifying series race. We look forward to hosting as many of you as would like to come out to one of the best race courses that the East Coast has to offer. To wrap things up, we got the standings from the Push Culture Cup presented by Restless Longboards. In the expert class, Eric Chernushenko, otherwise known as Junker, has finished 2nd at Wyndham and Push Culture Family Picnic and positioned him in a nice cozy spot in 1st place. That's for the experts. For the pro class, in 2nd and 3rd, it's a tight contention between Nico and Jonas Richter, both of which have finished well at our 2 top-tier events, but having attended all and doing well at every event, we have Dave Aparicio, Dave Apple Cheerios, Beep Boop Bop, whatever you want to call him, good friend of the show, and sitting comfortably in the 1st place position in the pro class for this year's Push Culture Cup. Congratulations, Dave. And before we go, definitely want to give a nice shout out to Restless Longboards again, who's put up the $2,500 prize purse for the winners. We've got money going to the experts, the pros, and we got an MVP as well. And none of it would be possible without Restless. So thank you very much, guys. Now, before we move on, there is one more thing we want to show you. I don't think we're really supposed to yet, but I got it right here. So real quick now, Jonas Richter Pro Model, busting boards. It's awesome. It's like super high-techy and stuff. Cool graphic. Jonas Richter's awesome. All right, that's all I got. I'm Brian Davenport. This has been the July edition of the Push Culture News Desk. Thank you for joining us, and as always, stay up to date so we can keep you informed.